and after it's going to be in a video, in our video library. O sea, vamos a darle la bienvenida a David. Esto va a estar grabado para todos los que nos llegan. Estoy muy contento y muy honrado de tenerlo. Y bueno, ¿qué es lo que hay? Cuando contacté con David, que fue hace poco tiempo, me encontré con que era un pensador diferente, era un provocador, tiene sentido del humor, tiene visión de unidad, fue fundador de organizaciones, es comediante y es abuelo. Todos los puntos en común que yo vi fueron muchos como para no invitarlo a una conversación. So I'm telling that all those things that you are regarding, that you think different, that you're a provocateur, that you have sense of humor, that you have a vision of unity in the coaching, that you found organizations, that you're a comedian, and you're a grandpa, those are things that we have in common. So I said, I have to have him a little, and ask him please to have an hour with him and to hear from the other part of the world, what is the feeling of coaching today, and to share with all the people who is here in Latin America, another opinion, another way of speaking, more than what we can find in all the website, because it's all crowded of anything. O sea, lo que queremos es una conversación diferente con la participación del público, donde podamos escuchar a una persona como David, que realmente, bueno, introdujo lo que es la mentoría y la tutoría en Europa, fue fundador de la primera organización de coaching, el Consejo de Coaching EMC, y hoy es embajador de la EMC en el 1992, o sea que es la primera organización. Bueno, es profesor invitado y profesor en distintas universidades, lidera una red de capacitadores y expertos, autor de 70 libros de coaching, mentoring y otros temas. Yo siempre digo cuando me presento que yo tengo 70 libros en mi biblioteca, pero ninguno escrito por mí. So when I present myself, I say I have 17 books in my library, but no one is written by me. So I just want to recognize that. The rest you know what it is, because it's your biography. Corresponsal, reputación de hacer preguntas enormemente difíciles, lo que es un desafío para mí, porque me encantan los preguntadores. Ahí está Vianey, que nos va a asistir y va a mutear y va a manejar el tema de la sala. Bueno, ok, es autor de cuentos infantiles, por supuesto, preside el comité de investigación del London School of Comedy. Me encantaría hablar un día entero sobre todos estos temas, pero bueno, esta es un poco la idea, es un gusto para nosotros tenerlo a David acá. ¿Cómo sigue esto? Es un pensamiento, una frase que de alguna forma, una de las tantas frases, ¿no?, que tienen que ver con que yo deseo que el año 1921 sea para la profesión de coaching, ponga foco en determinados temas y que se pueda lograr con el talento de los coaches cosas remarcables. Y otra de las cosas es lograr que el coaching, el otro objetivo es que hacer del coaching algo más divertido, yo diría, es una de las posibles traducciones. Esto fue lo que detonó al principio la presentación de los desafíos que David describió para los coaches en el 2020-2021, que a mí se me ocurrió interesante compartir. Así que ese es el punto final de la conversación, pero antes tenemos una agenda. So this is something that's inspiring me to invite you and to know which are the challenges that we can share with the people. This is a quite ambitious agenda. And these are the questions that maybe I would like to introduce or begin. It's la visión del mundo hoy, el más importante objetivo para lograr con el coaching. La breve historia, que no es menor, porque ahí hay the story of EMCC and why did you meet with Louis Hay and with John Whitmore to found the EMCC. It would be something interesting for the new generations to know about it. And the other point is, I feel that from EMCC there is a wave of about trying to all together now, which is our theme line, make agreements that maybe in this time of the world are needed to work together, and challenges for coaches, a quick look, maybe we can do after a master class or whatever, but this is more or less what we want to adjourn. I want just to share that now, after what we have the fun and the song, I am a very realistic and very, soy un coach bastante preocupado por lo que está pasando en el mundo. And we are following this process about a 1 year of what is happening with the pandemic. And we reach week by week, and we reach today to these numbers. And I think we can't avoid in the conversation what we are feeling, considering what is happening in Great Britain, that where you are in a very crucial moment, en un momento en el que es crucial para los países en donde hay una tercera ola, donde Gran Bretaña está en un momento bastante difícil, y Latinoamérica, ni hablar, que también está en un momento de descontrol. No podemos perder la idea de que esto está pasando. You know what I feel? I feel that coaching is always not aware or conscious about what is happening in the world. We are selling a word of happiness and success, and maybe you can help me to have a clear position of what we have to do as coaches. Be realistic or continue selling a word of happiness and success. Entonces, en este tema es el pedido de poder entender, porque hasta dónde estamos siendo realistas los coaches con lo que está pasando en el mundo, lo estamos teniendo en cuenta, y estamos teniendo en cuenta la necesidad de realmente hacer algo, porque el mundo no aguanta más, y entonces en el mundo que no aguanta más, los coaches algo tenemos que hacer. El futuro del coaching, que es parte de esta conversación, es lo de siempre. Si no nos ponemos de acuerdo, difícilmente la profesión va a avanzar. Este es un concepto que yo propongo desde el 2005 más o menos, parafraseando Mafalda. I showed you this before. Is where is the coaching going? And everyone says to a different point. And the most important thing, the leader organizations also can't agree of working together to find the way of where we're going. Okay? So, as said, so we are working from Juntos Somos Más coaching in Latin America and I want after you to something that impacts me was the decolonization, which means that each country has their own needs, their own preoccupation, their own coaching agenda, and I'm promoting a conversation between all organizations regarding that agenda. So, being said, this is your, I leave you the word, I leave you with to share with us this agenda or whatever. Dicha esta introducción, lo dejo a David que comparte con nosotros en este contexto lo mejor que pueda y lo que nos dé el tiempo, con las preguntas que se van a ir agregando en el chat. Bienvenidos a los que nos saludé. So, where you want to begin?
Okay, so it's one question after another, isn't it? Firstly, I'm just curious, as coaches are always curious. I'm curious, Laurel and Hardy, which one were you supposed to be and which one was I supposed to be?
Great question. De Laurel and Hardy, ¿quién se supone que es él y quién se supone que soy yo? I think I am the fat one. But the most important thing is that they dance together. And they dance okay, even, of course, regarding this theme line, that is the dance that is universally known, they are doing it very similar at what the world is dancing now. So I think we have, I love your way of thinking that we have to have fun in this moment.
Yeah.
So let's have fun, but working on what is happening really. O sea, ¿quién es el gordo, quién es el flaco? Yo le digo, soy el gordo, él es el flaco. Lo importante es divertirnos y compartir en un tema muy complejo como ese que estamos viviendo, porque no puedo escapar de esa realidad, y compartir con todos ese tema. Thank you.
I'm not sure whether I would prefer to be a wise old man with a wicked sense of humor or a wicked old man with a wise sense of humor.
Okay.
Somewhere in between, both sound fun.
O sea, ser un hombre sabio con un sentido del humor, wicked would be bastante particular, o tener un sentido de humor bastante particular y ser un hombre de experiencia, digamos, ¿no? So, what are you choosing? What is the one that you choose?
Okay. Well, why don't we start? Let's start at the beginning. Let's go with the beginning about what's happening in the world today.
That's important.
Yeah.
¿Qué pasa en el mundo hoy? Ujú.
We did a survey last year of coaches, human resource professionals, and leaders. And we asked them what they saw as happening in terms of the needs of organizations, in terms of investing more in individuals, in terms of their reward, their recognition, and their development, and investing more in terms of teams.
Hicimos,
Overwhelming.
I will interrupt you to make the translation. That's a problem. So, vamos a empezar a hablar un poco del mundo hoy, y nos comenta que el año pasado hicieron una investigación, un survey, con coaches, con gente de relaciones humanas y de empresas, para preguntarles cuáles eran las necesidades que hoy habían en términos de lo que había que hacer con las personas, en términos de reconocimiento, en términos de desarrollo, en términos de lo que podía estar pasando. I would say that the word changed from one year to another, so let me know what happened with this survey.
Overwhelmingly, the view was that we have to place less emphasis on developing individuals and more emphasis on developing collectives of teams.
O sea, lo que surgió fue que teníamos que poner menos objetivo, menos energía en desarrollar los individuos y más objetivo en energía en desarrollar los equipos, developing teams. Okay.
So I think there's a big movement now in the way that we think about work, the way we think about leadership, the way and therefore we have to catch up in the world of coaching.
O sea que debemos, repeat me, sorry, dejar de pensar en, less thinking on, sorry.
Yeah, so we have to think, so leadership is changing.
Yeah.
Leadership cannot be about one person taking the decisions, knowing everything, being at the center. Leadership has to become more collaborative, more distributed. And collective leadership is where we have to be, and where coaching, and therefore coaching, has to move from individual leadership or individual coaching much more towards collective coaching, coaching the system.
Okay, that's a tendency. Lo que estamos viendo es que quizá el liderazgo ha cambiado y ya no podemos concentrarnos en una persona, sino que tenemos que hacer un liderazgo colectivo, un liderazgo que vea el conjunto, un liderazgo que vea el sistema y que sea de desarrollo en cuanto al conjunto y no ya la cuestión individual. Okay? Yeah?
In some of our more recent work, we've been looking at the development of collective wisdom and what's needed to create greater levels of collective wisdom. And I talk about, firstly, MEQ, TQ, WeQ, and HQ.
En todo caso, first, lo que tenemos que pensar es una forma más colaborativa, en lo que implicaría una sabiduría colectiva, y lo que tenemos que hacer es crear entre todos esa sabiduría colectiva. I lost in the MEQ. Let me know about that.
So there's MEQ, TQ for team quotient, team intelligence, WeQ for organization intelligence, and HQ for human intelligence.
Coaching o inteligencia individual, inteligencia colectiva, inteligencia humana, ¿puede ser? Ese sería lo que se llamaría coeficiente de inteligencia. Coeficiente de inteligencia intelectual, humana, de equipo, and individual, team, and human.
Individual, team, organization, and human. Yeah.
Okay. Human.
I'll explain them a little first.
Yeah,
so MEQ is about the individual. It's a mixture of intelligence, IQ, emotional intelligence, EQ, spiritual intelligence, SQ, and wisdom.
Okay, la inteligencia individual tiene que ver con la inteligencia, con el IQ, con la inteligencia, el coeficiente intelectual, el coeficiente emocional, el coeficiente, digamos, de sabiduría, y the S would be
Spiritual,
el coeficiente de espiritualidad. Son 4 coeficientes que está considerando que deberíamos tener.
And then the last one is wisdom.
Y wisdom es sabiduría, yes. Para mí, wisdom es sabiduría, yes.
We talk about the leadership deficit. And the biggest deficit, we can have highly intelligent leaders who are not wise.
El mayor, cuando hablamos de déficit de los líderes, el peor déficit que pueden tener es no ser vivos, no ser sabios. Wise would be, ¿no? Vivos, sabios. That would be the worst deficit.
Yeah, if we go back into the origins of both coaching and mentoring, the goddess Athena, the goddess of wisdom, was the epitome of reflecting on experience, learning from experience, and engage and helping others to become wiser.
Bueno, si vamos a los principios del coaching o el mentoring, el epítome del tema era aprender de las personas, desarrollar y ayudar a otros a desarrollarse.
So, if we have a really effective leader, they will have this quality of wisdom, but we don't see wisdom in many leaders. Many of countries are dominated by leaders who are distinctly unwise.
No estamos viendo en los líderes esta capacidad de wise, de sabiduría, y obviamente, pero esto lo sabemos todos los que estamos acá, porque vivimos en países que están liderados por personas o líderes que no tienen sabiduría alguna, y esto es lo que nos está pasando. I think wisdom is a problem that we lose as a humanity, and we are where we are because we didn't use it in a very correct way. We lost the wisdom, and now we are losing the world in the hands of some stupidness and the fail of working together. I always give the example that if we work together, or the companies will work together on creating a vaccine, we would have more success than 20 companies working each side, por su lado, each one. So, este es el ejemplo de que creo que lo que se ha perdido en el mundo es la parte de la sabiduría para entender cómo manejarnos en un mundo como el que estamos hoy, y que el tema para mí de la sabiduría es no entender que juntos podemos crear muchas cosas, como hubiera sido un excelente resultado si las 20 compañías que se pusieron a inventar vacunas hubieran trabajado con un solo resultado, ya estaríamos con la pandemia superada. Es un ejemplo del no juntos. So wisdom would be the challenge.
Yes. As coaches, we've learned to work with individuals to help them become more effective, but rarely does the contract say we work to help them become more wise.
Trabajamos en general como coaches para generar personas más efectivas, pero quizá el contrato subyace el hecho de decir que deberíamos trabajar para que sean más sabios. Should we work for them to be more wise?
Yeah. Too much of coaching is helping a narcissistic executive climb yet another rung up the greasy ladder of the corporate world.
This would mean, please repeat me. You know what on the deficits that you spoke, I would add one. It's my case. It's deficit on attention. So I have to recheck, because I'm looking for many things and I always declare it. So the leaders would be with the coaching we are doing. Repeat me. Repeat the idea.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Could you repeat the idea, this last idea?
So I've lost my track now. What we're saying is, okay, so that too much coaching is focused on helping an individual who is going to climb the ladder anyway, and who is a narcissistic person who is going to cause harm to the world around them, but we're helping the wrong people get to the top.
Ok, so el coaching tendría que ver con el hecho de ayudar a la gente a subir su escalera, pero esto desarrolla el aspecto narcisístico, y quizás estamos ayudando a las personas equivocadas hacer ese camino, ¿no? The wrong people, we are helping with coaching, y así estamos sufriendo las consecuencias. So we are suffering the consequences.
Yeah, and of course, can we say ethically, it's not my problem. I am just the tool. I just help people. Can we actually absolve ourselves of the responsibility?
Ok, esto tiene que ver con que, bueno, nosotros podemos decir que como coaches ayudamos a las personas y que no tenemos responsabilidad de hacernos cargo de lo que pasa. Podemos evadir la responsabilidad que tenemos al trabajar como coaches con los líderes, con esas personas que después toman decisiones que nos perjudican, would be the idea.
So if we look at the cascade here, we're moving up from helping individuals to helping teams. And we estimate that the world needs, in the next 5 years, 150,000 experienced, accredited, competent, mature team coaches. At the moment, we have less than 3,000 globally.
So, deberíamos ayudar a las empresas y a armar equipos efectivos y trabajar con el coaching de forma efectiva. Para eso serían falta 150, serían 150,000, si solamente tenemos 3,000. 150,000? 150,000.
Yeah, 150,000, yeah.
Okay. O sea que, we need more coaches, you mean?
We need more team coaches, yes.
Okay, trabajando como coaches de equipo. O sea, there's opportunity for coaches to get specialized on team coaching. There is an opportunity that you would say in the market, the most important opportunity would be in developing team coaches. La mayor oportunidad, o lo que él ve como necesidad, o lo que ve como oportunidad, es el desarrollo de coaches de equipo. Coaches de equipo.
So the impact that we can make by helping a team to grow is much, much greater than we can have by helping an individual to grow.
Ok, el impacto que podemos tener como coaches ayudando a avanzar un equipo es muchísimo mayor que el impacto que tenemos con el coaching de uno a uno, o individual.
But we can take it even further. What we're seeing is the growth of something we call team of teams coaching. So that you, just as a bunch of individuals within a team may all be performing well, but the team performs badly, an organization may be formed of many teams, each of which may be performing reasonably well, but the organization is performing badly.
So, entonces podríamos hablar de que habría que crear equipo de equipos de coaches de equipos, porque podríamos trabajar con equipos donde algunos individuos mejoren su performance y el equipo funcione bien, pero hay muchos equipos en la organización, con lo cual deberíamos trabajar con todos los equipos para que la organización funcione bien. Working with all the teams of the organization so the organization can work okay.
Yeah, so we have collective intelligence here, which is organizational level.
Ahí llegaríamos a la inteligencia colectiva, que sería un poco el nivel organizacional del coaching como resultado.
We're still learning how to do this.
Estamos aprendiendo cómo hacer esto todavía.
And then what goes beyond this is what I call HQ, or humanity, or intelligent humanity.
Lo que hay detrás de esto sería el desarrollo de la inteligencia humana. What is beyond this is development of IQ, intelligence, or human, no?
Yes,
human,
of humanity. So it's the way to describe it, what happens when a society behaves with high levels of collective intelligence, emotional intelligence, of spiritual intelligence and wisdom.
¿Qué es lo que pasaría cuando una sociedad pudiera trabajar con inteligencia emocional, inteligencia de sabiduría, inteligencia, digamos, espiritual? This is the question. What would happen with a society if we could work with that kind of intelligence, okay?
Exactly so. So there's a journey here for us as coaches, if we choose to take it.
Hay un viaje, una oportunidad, un objetivo para los coaches si elegimos tomarla, okay?
So to go from focusing just on individuals, where we could make the help to make that individual not just to perform, but to become wise, and then to focus on the team, the organization, and society. if coaching is to fulfill its objective, its potential, that's where we have to go.
Entonces, si podemos completar el camino de asistir a las personas en su desarrollo personal, a los equipos y a las organizaciones, y como consecuencia a la sociedad, es donde el coaching debería ir, es donde deberíamos apuntar. And how can we do it now, today? What is missing? Because it's supposed that
What's
we're doing
missing?
that from years. What is failing? ¿Qué está fallando? Porque esto es lo que tendríamos que haber hecho siempre, o podríamos estar haciendo.
For me, one of the issues is the scarcity of coaching. So we train people to be coaches and think it's a profession, and that's fine. But what if everyone was or had the skill to be a coach and to coach others?
Lo que creo que está faltando es la escasez o falta de coaches. ¿Qué pasaría si todas las personas fueran entrenadas para ser coach? You are bringing me to an image that I show you that I believe as Steve Jobs created one man, one computer, and we have the computer in our hands, the feeling that maybe we can have a society of one man, one coach, one person. And that would be that 50%
Almost.
would be, ¿no? Esta idea me lleva a una placa que tengo por ahí, que es lo que yo tengo como base, que es una visión. Hay que tener una visión de lo que en su momento fue un hombre, una computadora, que nadie hubiera creído en 1984, y fue lo que Steve Jobs logró. Y yo coincido que en el 2007 pensamos que podía ser una visión, un coach, una persona. Esto significaría un 50% por lo menos de coaches. Would be a 50% of coaches in the world. This is kind of working against the pandemic. There's a percentage of people who re-immunize and be prepared to work with the other part, something like that, no?
Something along those lines, but I think we can go further. I think if we think about it, what is numeracy as a skill?
What is?
Numeracy, being able to work with numbers.
¿Cuál es la habilidad de los números? What would be the numbers?
So, with education, everybody can learn to do mathematics.
Con educación todo el mundo puede hacer las matemáticas.
But very few people go on to become accountants.
Pero
or mathematicians at university.
Accountants and
mathematicians at university.
Claro, profesores de matemática en la universidad. Tienen la base, pero no el nivel, digamos.
So we've been experimenting in schools in different countries, helping the children in schools from 8 years up until 18 learn the skills of coaching and mentoring.
Bueno, estuvieron experimentando. This is great because we have a similarity on the thinking and the points of our declaration. Education is the most important thing. Estuvimos trabajando en las escuelas de 8 a 18, ayudando a los alumnos a que incorporen habilidades educativas. And we, as a vision, believe that coaching, working on education would be the most important way of working together to change society. And there is an experience in Latin America, many experiences, but most important one in Argentina, where the kids go from the first beginning to their bachelor, receiving coach year by year, and developing and finishing the school as junior coaches. Les estoy contando que esta visión de poder poner el coaching en la educación, que creo que vamos a compartir mucho los que estamos acá, pero que quizás no trabajamos fundamentalmente para lograrlo. Esto existe en Latinoamérica algunos espacios, y particularmente que yo reconozco, es el de Argentina, de Mr. Pelufo, que es un colegio que incorpora desde el jardín de infantes hasta recibirse de bachiller, como junior coach, todo un proceso evolutivo de aprendizaje de coaching. That makes a difference.
It's amazing how quickly the children learn it, how good they are, and in the training that we have for the children, which we've been experimenting with, we even have a chapter in the ebook for them, which is how to mentor your parents.
Es increíble lo rápido que los chicos aprenden, lo buenos que salen, e incluso tenemos un capítulo que es cómo mentorear a los padres, how to mentor the fathers. Sí, los padres.
They can be very good at it.
The kids finish with that capacity of mentoring the fathers. That's what you say. So
Yeah,
los hijos
exactly.
o los
Why
alumnos
not?
se vuelven en mentores de sus padres. Great.
And we also have major programs now in multiple countries where we're taking the parallel concept of mentoring, and we're doing reverse mentoring or reciprocal mentoring. And so in reciprocal mentoring, we take people at the bottom of the organization, often from a different culture, a minority culture.
We take people.
They're from a minority culture. They're from the bottom of they are people at the bottom are mentoring people at the top.
Lo que estamos hablando es la reversión del proceso de mentoría, en el cual el concepto de mentoría es aplicado en forma recíproca y donde de repente gente de la base mentorea a la gente de arriba, a la gente del top. You mean from the bottom to the top, mentorean de la base para arriba. O sea, esa es la reversión de lo que sería el proceso de coaching. Because regarding what? Regarding that those people are prepared with skills that others didn't have in the moment. What that would mean? How do you explain that?
The main reason for doing it is that people at the top don't understand the world as it is seen through people at the bottom.
La principal razón de esto es que la gente de la cúpula, la gente del top de las empresas no entiende el mundo como lo entiende la gente de la base, la gente de base.
Especially if those people are from a different culture and a different background.
Especialmente porque son de una diferente cultura o un background diferente.
So what's happening in the organizations that have introduced this process, they have made significant progress in increasing the diversity in the senior levels.
Lo que han logrado en las organizaciones es una diversidad, aumentar la diversidad en los niveles senior de las empresas. Increasing diversity.
So what happens is the senior people learn how to understand the world through the eyes of more junior people.
Los senior aprenden a cómo observar el mundo desde los ojos de los junior o de los más jóvenes.
And that helps to create policies and processes that overcome the hidden barriers and biases that prevent people from minorities advancing.
That was complicated. Entonces esto permite generar barreras o defender las problemáticas que surgen de los ataques a la minoridad. What I was thinking is, you're speaking about an experience that needs a culture, a flexibility. Yes. Of the companies and of the top companies to accept this change.
Yes.
And there begins the culture of different continents and the way of receiving this. I wonder what would be this in the Latin American or Spanish-speaking countries about this alternative.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that?
My honest answer is I don't know.
I know.
But I think the learning potential from listening to people below, enormous.
El potencial de escuchar a la gente de abajo es enorme para el cambio. Yes, yes, I think so. What is happening is that the people below now is speaking what they never speak before. New generations are asking for rights, for freedom, for a different way of doing things. Esto es lo que pasa con las nuevas generaciones que están hablando lo que no hablábamos antes. You wouldn't expect in other times for us to say the bosses what they have to do or what maybe they could do different, not what they have to do. And this now maybe have to be accepted because if not, you don't have a working force. Si hoy no aceptan escuchar a la gente joven, a las nuevas generaciones, te quedas sin la fuerza de trabajo porque se van. Maybe that's exaggerating. Eso es exagerando, ¿no? Se irían de la empresa si no son escuchados.
When we did some studies of the literature on effective leaders and on effective coaches, we found that the qualities of both were the same.
Cuando hicimos un estudio entre la efectividad de los coaches y la efectividad de los líderes, encontramos que las características eran las mismas o similares.
So there were 4 qualities. The first was
Cuatro cualidades.
the first was compassion. So caring about other people. But for leaders, they need to care about the cause and they need to care about the person. And for coaches, it's caring about the person, the client, but caring also about the system that they influence.
O sea, la compasión y el cuidado sería uno de los primeros puntos donde los líderes deben tener cuidado por la causa, pero también por la gente. Y bueno, los coaches deben tener compasión y cuidado por las personas y por el sistema, o prestar atención al sistema.
And to achieve compassion for others, it's necessary to have compassion for ourselves.
Para lograr compasión por otros hay que tener compasión por nosotros mismos. What a point. Yes.
The second quality was being really interested in other people and new knowledge.
In other people and
New knowledge.
el otro punto es tener verdadero interés en las personas y en los nuevos conocimientos. A mí me suena todo esto muy interesante porque me pregunto, los que estamos acá, que somos coaches, que decimos que hacemos esto, ¿hasta qué punto nos está faltando un paso más en este tema de la compasión? ¿No? Esto me parece que es un important point. How we can develop that point, but just go on with the points.
Yeah, it requires a recognition that the world is moving so fast that we have to be able to see what's moving in the mist.
El mundo se mueve tan rápido que tenemos que ver o tener la capacidad de ver lo que se mueve en la niebla, which is today it's very fast.
Yes.
And the mist is very dense, very complicated. La niebla está complicada y el mundo se mueve muy rápido.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Yes.
So I liken the role of a chief executive to driving a speedboat through the mist, knowing that you have to go fast. You have to be aware of everything that's happening around you.
Imagino al chief executive dirigiendo un barco a toda velocidad en la niebla, moviéndose rápidamente, pero pudiendo tener en cuenta qué es lo que está pasando alrededor. It's a very big part of attention to have the knowledge of what is happening around.
Indeed, it's very difficult, and part of that attention is to things that you can't see, but you can imagine. And so,
parte de esa atención es atender las cosas que no podés ver, pero sí podés imaginar.
So, any senior executive that we're working with, I think coaches have a responsibility to help them become more aware of, for example, what will your grandchildren's children think of the decisions that you make?
I can't believe. Lo importante sería que los ejecutivos los coaches puedan ayudar a los ejecutivos a tomar más conciencia. Incluso la pregunta de qué es lo que tú, repeat me the last part because I want to tell you what I present on 207.
So what will your grandchildren's children think of the decisions you make today?
¿Qué pensaría tus nietos de las decisiones que tomaste hoy? Si alguien vio la presentación que yo hice en el 2017, cuando yo dije cuál es la pregunta más importante que te podrían hacer, era la foto de mi nieta que recién nacía y que decía, papá, ¿qué hiciste vos abuelo, ¿qué hiciste vos para cambiar el mundo? You know, I used that kind of thing in the presentation where I developed this idea, and which would be the most important question that you ever received. Everybody has a different question, and I posed the one that says, my grandchild saying, Father, Grandpa, what did you do to change the world or to work for a better world? No, and that would be the question that we would be able, at least coaches should be able to address. Executive as what you do, and coaches what do you help, no? sea que los ejecutivos tendrían que poder contestar esa pregunta y los coaches también tener la posibilidad de tener una contestación a qué hiciste vos para contribuir por un mundo mejor, qué hiciste vos para trabajar por una mejor calidad de vida, qué hiciste vos. Esto es parte del trabajo de los coaches. Sorry.
So the other two things are courage, having the courage to take the difficult decisions, to ask the difficult questions. So courage, what we see is leaders who have a lot of bravado, but very little real courage. The courage to be
El
wrong.
coraje importante para tomar decisiones difíciles y hacer preguntas difíciles. Make difficult questions. Ese es parte de las cualidades que deberían tener. And there is fear for that. The second part of the definition. Difficult
The courage
questions
to make difficult decisions, the courage to be vulnerable.
Okay. El coraje de la vulnerabilidad, que es algo de lo que empezamos a hablar siempre, pero creo que en estas épocas estamos poniendo más sobre la mesa como coaches. Incluso, bueno, eso me surge mucho del proceso de supervisión, donde los coaches se presentan de igual a igual para trabajar con otros coaches por su desarrollo, y la vulnerabilidad ha sido para mí uno de los avances, creo que más ha ganado la profesión en los últimos tiempos, porque todos hemos sufrido los golpes y mostrarnos vulnerables implica una mejor sintonía con las personas. I think showing us vulnerable is the most important challenge and learning that we got on these last years, where coaches have, and I speak from the supervision point of view, because as a supervisor, you change or you do different things, or you make in a same level, person to person, you show yourself in a way that you don't or you didn't do it as a coach. O sea, nos mostramos de una forma como supervisores que no lo hacíamos ni lo haríamos como coach.
Indeed. And the fourth one was connectedness. Being this connected with people in the organization, outside the organization, this being linked with both with people and with the big issues like poverty and climate change. So connectedness is a critical component for leaders and for coaches.
La conexión sería uno de los principales puntos en los que estemos conectados con nosotros mismos, dentro de la organización, fuera de la organización, con la gente y con los grandes temas que nos aquejan. Los grandes temas que nos aquejan, como puede ser lo que rodea la organización y lo que rodea el contexto del cliente al que atendemos. Yo agrego algunas cosas porque tiene mucho que ver con el tema del contexto. Estar conectados con eso, me parece que that's an important point. I feel that we are inviting coaches to understand that the world is asking us for get interventions on things like discrimination, like climate change, like violence, like insecurity, like uncertainty, like pandemia, like you know, all those things that happen, that we are connected, but we have to address them in a different way. Tenemos que asumir, eso está ahí en los desafíos que tenemos de lo que está pasando con el mundo, donde los coaches juntos podemos intervenir. Y bueno, as you said, connection and vulnerable to accept them and to manage them. Y la vulnerabilidad para aceptarlos, manejarlos y compartirlos y entender lo que le pasa al cliente.
When we boil down, what is coaching? Coaching is a way of helping people to achieve clarity about their values, about themselves, so clarity about their internal world, and to have clarity about the external world, what's happening around them. And what coaching does, yep.
El coaching sería, como la definición del coaching es la posibilidad de ayudar o acompañar a las personas a lograr claridad de valores, claridad interna, claridad externa, clarity on all the aspects, okay?
Yeah. And what coaching does is to link our deeper understanding and clarity about our inner world with a deeper understanding and clarity about our outer world.
Linkear la profunda comprensión de nuestro mundo interior con la profunda comprensión del mundo exterior. That would be, eso sería una de las tareas de los coaches.
Yeah. So our role.
May I do an acceleration for the people? Y quiero decirles que esto va a quedar grabado, y no solamente va a quedar grabado, sino que las ideas van a ser retransmitidas y retraducidas y repuestas con todo lo que hace falta o lo que no se ha tomado, no se ha entendido, porque obviamente mi traducción puede estar fallando en algún punto y me despierto un montón de ideas, pero lo vamos a poner por escrito para compartirlos, más allá del paper que ya hemos compartido con respecto a los desafíos. I'm telling that we are going this interview are going to put in paper to clear up the right understanding of my translation and to wide the concepts, because I find it very rich and very grateful for what you are giving us. Estoy agradecido por lo que nos está dando.
Well, I'm conscious we have just 10 minutes, and I'd like people to have a chance to ask questions.
Ok, a ver, Eduardo, tu pregunta. Acá estamos abiertos a la posibilidad de hacer preguntas en estos últimos 10 minutos. Como yo dije al principio, esta era la agenda que yo tenía era para 10 horas de conversación, porque podríamos tener un panorama. A mí lo que me interesaba es tener una visión diferente, una visión europea, una visión about... My first question, which I would want you to address, and I leave the people, is there any possibility to think that coaches could change their mindset to accept, and organizations to change the mindset to accept that we can work together for a better world, besides the important work that they do as standards and professionalization? Do you think there is are we ready, or we have to receive the third wave that will kick us the ass? And then we're going to realize, oh, let's work together. This is my important key. Well, how can you help me on that?
I think that the analogy, I work a lot with Médecins Sans Frontières and other medical charities. And I think the analogy is here, Médecins Sans Frontières knows that it cannot change the whole world on its own. But we have doctors and they have skills and they work in whatever way they can, while they can, and their aspiration is always to achieve more. So we're not going to change the whole world in 5 minutes.
No. Ok, la pregunta que yo le hago es el gran desafío, mi gran inquietud es, va a haber un momento en el que los coaches podamos trabajar juntos y podamos hacer una unidad para lograr un cambio, para lograr una mejora, en fin, cambiar el mindset para eso. Él me dice, bueno, el ejemplo que yo te puedo dar es el de Médicos Sin Fronteras. Ellos trabajan a lo largo del mundo, solos, trabajan para hacer lo que pueden, pero no están pensando en que puedan cambiar el mundo. They do what they can, what you mean.
Exactly.
Yeah,
yes.
they work together.
Yes, and we can do lots of simple things to start.
Okay, that's ideas.
So one of the things that I want,
yes.
So one of the initiatives that I'm discussing with the European Mentoring and Coaching Council, we are looking at the suggestion that every time a coach starts a new coaching assignment, he or she and their client should agree that the client plants, or the client pays for planting 6 or 10 or 12 trees.
Hay algunas cosas sencillas que nosotros podemos hacer por el mundo que nos rodea. Una de las cosas que estamos hablando en la AMCC, que I would want you, we don't have time, but I would love to add some information about what is the AMCC offering and what is the AMCC opening a conversation, which I agree, of doing things together. Pero el ejemplo que nos da es qué pasaría si cada coach acuerda con su cliente de que debería plantar de 6 a 10 arbolitos.
So I can say a little bit about the EMCC. The EMCC was founded in 1991, and it came out of the university, first the Sheffield Hallam University. And its intention, it was then called the European Mentoring Centre because nobody really heard of coaching. Coaching didn't really exist very much there.
Ok, por eso se llama Mentoring Association, porque en ese momento, en el 92, nadie escuchaba la palabra coaching, entonces se juntaron desde la universidad para armar esto bajo el concepto de mentoring.
And so, mentoring, true mentoring, not what they talk about in the States, which is a combination of mentoring and sponsorship. But true mentoring,
el verdadero mentoring, no el que se habla en Estados Unidos, que es una especie de sponsoreado, y mentoría es una mezcla.
So mentoring is a dialogue that helps people become wiser. And so in mentoring, you do everything that you do as a coach, but you also have the opportunity to give them some context.
El mentoreo es una conversación como para lograr ciertos resultados. La diferencia entre el coaching es que estamos conversando con la persona, brindando ciertas ideas, ciertas oportunidades, o giving some ideas, what you said. That's the mentor what we do.
So there's a big difference between giving context, which is some information that will help somebody with their thinking, and giving advice.
Entre ofrecer contexto que ayudaría a la persona a ayudarle a pensar y hacer qué hacer con lo que piensa.
Whereas advice is doing the thinking for somebody.
En cambio, consejo es hacer el pensamiento por el otro, which
So
coaches don't do.
Yeah. So true mentoring is basically coaching plus all the skills of a coach, plus the ability to use your own experience and yourself.
Great. We are going to that way. O sea, coaching, mentoring sería coaching plus. O sea, coaching más la capacidad de compartir con la persona la sabiduría, el aprendizaje que vos le puedes aportar. ¿No? Your learnings.
Indeed. So what happened was by about 1995, we had lots of people saying, "I'm a coach," and we said, "Well, what are you doing?" And we said, "Well, it's very similar to what we're doing. So come and join us."
En el 95 empezaron a hablar algunas personas sobre yo soy coach, y les preguntamos qué hacen, y lo que hacían era muy similar a lo que hacíamos nosotros, así que únanse. De ahí habrá pasado a ser el Council from Mentoring to Mentoring and Coaching Council, ¿no?
That's right. So that's where we became the European Mentoring Coaching Council.
Great.
So it's now
Yes.
So it's now the second largest of the organizations in professional organizations. It's much more. It's very evidence based. It has mostly senior coaches and mentors as its members. It does a lot of research, but basically it's not a commercial organization. It is an organization to support coaches.
No es una organización comercial, es una organización para soportar o acompañar a los coaches. Es la segunda más grande del mundo. Es la dedicada a estar al servicio del coach. Está formada por senior coaches. Se basa en la evidencia, el trabajo se basa en la evidencia y se dedica a investigar y acompañar la profesión desde un lugar diferente. I know that time is finishing, but I would want, Vianney, ¿hay alguna pregunta expuesta y clara o alguien que la tenga o la quiera hacer?
Sí, Gerardo. Mira, de hecho, cuando nos estaba compartiendo David acerca de la inteligencia colectiva, por aquí apareció una pregunta que se repitió, es ¿qué está faltando para poder trabajar en equipo entre nosotros? Mencionaba Nat. Entonces, Eduardo complementando dice, sí, ¿qué hacemos nosotros para los coaches para trabajar en equipo? Entonces, por ahí si nos pudiera, a manera de resumen, hacer alguna recomendación.
Genial. A couple of questions that are reaching is what is failing or what should we do, coaches, to work in team? If we say that team is kind of the focus, what is missing for coaches to work in a team way all over the world if it's necessary? I believe it's not over the world, it's country by country to help the profession. Each country have their problems. So that would be the final question that we want from you to round the conversation, and we hope we have you again because the agenda wasn't all complete. And okay. So I share with the people the document of the 7 challenges that we can put in on the chat. Podemos poner el PDF en el chat a los que no estuvieron, que es el documento que compartimos. So, ¿qué es lo que piensas? What do you think about it?
Basically, what's absolutely needed is to understand the difference between the complexity of dealing with an individual and the complexity of dealing with a team. It's multiplied by 10.
So, la complejidad de trabajar con un individuo se multiplica por 10 cuando hay que trabajar con un equipo. So we as coaches that we want to work on a team way, we have to multiply by 10 our abilities to work together. I can testify that it's very difficult to change what we have to change, what the mindset we have to work together and offer a unique and forced image for the class, for the world, for as a profession. What we have to change first?
The first thing is we have to be role models for thinking systemically. We have, because then we can help our clients to think systemically. So we really have to understand systems in depth.
Entender los sistemas, aprender a trabajar sistémicamente, and we would have, so as individual coaches, we have to have a step forward of looking reality, looking the world, and understanding that we are not alone. We are part of the system. We are part of a profession. We are part of the needs of the world that needs for us as profession. Es entender, salir de la individualidad, empezar a entender que somos un equipo y entender cuáles son las necesidades que el mundo como sistema requiere de nosotros. That needs what? Conversation needs what?
It needs reading, it needs thinking, it needs training, but it also means a transition. There's a transition from coaching somebody on basic things to coaching somebody to understand the systems in their own team. To
Necesita
coaching,
lectura, necesita aprendizaje, necesita práctica, necesita conversación y necesita transitar de lo que es la visión básica a una visión sistémica, from a basic vision to a systemic vision.
yeah, but then we can move to coaching the team leader in building a coaching culture in their team.
Podemos trabajar en cambiar la mentalidad del team leader a generar una cultura. But how can we work between us? I want to focus on the final words. How can we work? Because we know that this is what we have to do with the companies, with the leaders. But as coaches, how can we work together? That's the most important question. Well, that's what Vianney was sharing as one of the questions to close.
Okay,
that's
so
a
one way
challenge
we
for
can
me.
work together is team coaching is almost always best done with two coaches together to learn from each other. And so we can learn to work as a pair. But equally, if we want to influence at the different levels, at the organizational level or societal level, we come together in teams of coaches. So we have to learn to act as to be superb examples of teamwork as coaches. That's the challenge for the future.
Okay, thank you very much. So el tema es, si pudiéramos pensar en equipos de dos o aprender a trabajar en equipo, aprender a transmitir esta idea del trabajo de equipo sería un primer paso en la organización para el beneficio de la sociedad. Entonces, para mí lo que queda es esta idea de los equipos, por lo menos que yo planteo por país, de los coaches trabajando juntos con un fin común, que obviamente exige un cambio de mente. Ojalá que sea realidad. Y bueno, your support today to help us think of how can we work together, está bueno, Eduardo. Ahí no sé si estará sacando las fotos de Vianney, que es nuestra asistente para que todos estemos, porque yo lo tengo en la cabeza ahí. Pero prometo que esto va a tener una transcripción muy buena. Thank you very much. I know that you have a meeting, you have to leave, you are over 1 minute. A final word that you want to leave us. As coaches of different organizations, different countries in Latin America, hoping that this pandemic will finish, but what we can do, what would be your final word to leave this conversation?
I think this is the most exciting time to be a coach ever. There's so much potential.
Este es el momento más excitante para ser coach. Hay tanto potencial, yes, and it's growing the profession. That's right. So we have to work on it.
So I always say to everybody, go safe and go well.
Go safe and go well. Okay. Go safe and go well. Sigamos sanos y sigamos bien sería, ¿no? Esa frase me hace acordar también a una que que Be Hungry, a una de Steve Jobs. Bueno, with those words, which going to be kind of the lemma of this conversation, please, a la gente le pido que deje las preguntas en el chat. Nosotros seguimos conectados. David es el que se tiene que ir. We're going to miss you. We're going to continue speaking if people will be here. This will
I shall leave you to talk.
Thank you very much. I want just to, if you want to leave your information, porque está ese pedido, bien ahí.
I'm sorry, do I want to?
Regarding what is your I would say your data of what is
okay.
where we can find you.
You can find me on LinkedIn. That's the easiest way to find me on LinkedIn, or Gerardo, we'll send you to circulate. Please circulate my email. That's fine.
Okay, I will. These questions, you know that you left on your document 2 questions. You remember those? For me, was the most important thing that we have to think over is coaching the answer to the problems most urgent of the world, or simply a distraction, or maybe part of the problem. And the second one, that I love it, what we're going to do to reassure that the coaching gets the best potential to change the world. What I gonna do? Esta es la reflexión. ¿Qué vamos a hacer? Bueno, la gente en español está leyendo. Estas son las preguntas que generaron esta idea de poder esta reunión y los podemos seguir conversando acá. We hope to have you again. I hope that you will be with us soon. Thank you very much, David. Really,
it's a pleasure to everybody. I must go because people are waiting for
go.
the other
These
call.
are the details. So thank you very much. I'll see you soon.
Thank you all.
Really, thank you very much for being with us.
Bye.
Bye bye. Nos deja él, pero nosotros